Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Today I want to talk about work, and this does impact relationships, and I will show you why. I'm going to call this Your Work Matters to Your Future Wife. Now, it should matter to you as well, and that's a big part of getting married because, you're going to have to let them know what you do. They're going to ask what you do. And I know there's this thought that, women today, all they want is money, and they're materialistic. And, I suppose there could be some people that are overboard like that. But for the most part, it's just a frank reality of life and relationships. You need to take care of yourself. If you're single, you need to take care of yourself financially, but getting involved in a relationship where you get married, you get a house, and the expenses go up, and maybe there's children involved, and it's very important to be working. I think employment is part of our draw as a potential marriage partner. And is kind of part of our package that we present ourselves as potential husbands. Now, while women will and should expect a man to work, that doesn't mean that he has to be the head of a corporation or make millions of dollars. I don't think that's what bothers her. She's looking for a couple things, and one is that he's just able to provide, and two, that he is using his skills the right way in life and he's not wasting those abilities, and that he shows an eagerness and a willingness to go out every day and be reliable and work. Whatever it is, I'm not even going to name occupations because then I'm sure I'll say something and somebody will think that I'm considering that occupation, not worthy or anything like that. I'll tell you briefly later about my experiences. Nothing really out of the ordinary there, but it is part of our draw as a husband. And I've personally known of a couple relationships, marital relationships, that broke up because the husband just didn't want to work. It sounded like they just didn't want to. They preferred to do other things. It wasn't a matter of, not being capable. It was just a matter of not being willing. And that puts a lot of stress on a relationship, which is what a woman does not want. And if she wants to have a family, she knows he's going to have to be contributing, no question about it. Even if she works, I think she still wants to see her husband have a job, be responsible, and she should and he should want that for himself. I've heard guys say, she should marry me for who I am and just love me because I'm her husband. And yes, she should do that, but that doesn't mean he can sit on the sofa all day or doing whatever he does and not go to work, punch the clock, put in the time, put bread on the table, and clothing and a better lifestyle. That should be something that does motivate us every day for ourselves, and even more so if we plan on getting married. By the way, please subscribe here to Love Beyond the Sea. I talk about relationships. This is related to relationships because, if you're not going to be working, and that, as I've said, that can keep a relationship from happening, and that can end marriages that have already begun. I've seen that myself. Part of the you that you say they should love me for is, your willingness to go out and earn money. Doesn't mean you're materialistic, just means you're practical. And that's what she's going to be looking for. Now, work, your occupation, because it's something you might be doing for 40, 50 years, that's a big part of our life story. I think it's intended to be a big part of our life story. Work does not define who we are. Like, I'm president of the company, I am the star singer, I am the star quarterback, or anything like that. But it is a means to provide. A wife, potentially a wife, she's going to be looking for work ethic and also how you use money. She's not going to want somebody that slaves away to make a lot of money and then hoards it or uses it foolishly, because she wants that for long-term security, which seems to be built into a woman. And of course, if you have children, it's going to be even more important that that husband understands he's there to bring in the money using his skills and abilities. It's not all there for himself, heaven forbid. It's there for the family, college maybe. And he sacrifices because he accepts this is just part of what a man does. Now, I worked for 40 years at one place. I was a radio announcer for a short time, kind of in the middle of that at the start. But I did work for 4 years, and I did get a good pension. And, if you work, you usually have a 401k plan, and I reluctantly put money into that. I'm glad I did, but, it took me probably until I was in my 40s before I thought, I better start doing this. When I started seeing a graph about the benefits of compound interest, that really got my attention. And there's a lot of satisfaction. If you have a job, that you have a good mindset, good attitude, you're using your skills, then God gave you those skills and those abilities and temperaments and, physical, mental abilities to be able to go and earn a living. It should never be squandered, because then you're wasting part of who you are. For me, I don't, consider myself the most talented person, but, I worked hard, and I think that is a talent. I liked going to work, very regular. I worked Saturdays and Sundays and holidays, and at the end, even weekends if I was on vacation. If they're going to pay me time and a half more, I wanted to be there. So I worked hard and I worked long, and that was fine. And I got satisfaction out of doing what I was doing. I liked to stay busy. I liked the more physical work, maybe just so I didn't fall asleep or something. I don't know. I'd like to being busy, and it made me feel good at the end of the day. And I was also kind of anal with the details, which is a skill that you can use in the workforce, and also kind of had a compulsion to want to get things done. And other than that, no special skills that I was aware of, but it helped me put together a 40-year career that was cut short by something I will not get into, but I am retired now. But I did work for 40 years and save money, and we can still live on that now. Now I can spend some time focusing on my wife and her job. She's been here 8 years in the United States. I married her in the Philippines 2015. She's doing fantastic. I think she's moved up further and faster than she ever thought she would, because she's got skills. I encourage her, always want to encourage her to learn more and do her best, which she always does anyway, and see how far she can go. She can always, at the end of her life, look back and say, she came to America, she worked hard, things worked out better than she would have thought, because I'm encouraging her. She has more skills, to be honest with you, than I do. I did a video on envy, and I could be envious about this. No, I want her to use all of her abilities to the best possible extent. So, but that's about my wife's work. She can use her work experiences to encourage other people. I'm just trying to encourage you here that your work does matter. I was going to read something else about, a connection between what we do all day and what God wants us to do. He does want us to work. So your work does matter to your love beyond the sea.